Today we'll be reading the middle seat as our vocabulary read aloud. The first thing we're going to do is review our target vocabulary words for this week. I'll say, then you say. Answered. Copy. Guessed. Heavily. Not. Lonely. Planning. Seriously. As we listen to our read aloud today, listen for each of your target vocabulary words. As you hear them, repeat them back to me. Listen carefully and answer the questions along the way. The middle seat. It was 2 hours into the car ride, and Grace was trying not to scream. Her mother's suitcase bumped heavily against her with each pothole in the road. The storm outside made it nearly impossible for her to read her book. To make things worse, Grace was stuck in the car's middle seat, luggage on one side and her 5-year-old brother Brendan on the other. Grace glanced over at her brother. He had behaved so far, but she guessed he'd soon find a way to make the drive miserable. Her family had made this same trip last year, and the drive had been a nightmare. So Grace had done everything she could to avoid the middle seat when her parents had started planning this year's trip. She told them about the suitcases bumping her. She described how Brendan loved to copy everything she did. She explained those reasons and more very seriously. But here she was again, in the middle. "Hey, Grace," said Brendan, interrupting her thoughts. "Know what I did in school yesterday?" "No, but I'm sure you'll tell me," answered Grace. Pedro was crying because he had no friends to help him tie his shoes. I felt bad, so I tied his shoes with my special double knot. This was not what Grace had expected to hear. Brendan's stories usually involved pretend pirate battles or becoming a ninja. They did not include helping out a lonely kid. "I'm proud of you," whispered Grace. As she said this, she realized how true it really was. Her little brother was growing up. Somehow she had not noticed this before. They talked throughout the rest of the trip, and even though the suitcase still bumped into her sometimes, she did not mind being in the middle of the seat.